our life as a band has been a lot about opportunities coming and us trying to get them all because we were 18 to 20, full of energy, full of enthusiasm. And so, of course, we did that, and I don't regret anything. I just came to the point where like my energies were lower, my enthusiasm was lower, so I was really facing then the pressure, the anxiety, the fatigue, and I needed, yeah, a fresh start.
Hiya, I'm Rishi from NME, and today I'm joined by Damiano David in London for the latest in our In Conversation series. How you doing, Damiano?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Coming to the end of your London trip, is it?
Yeah. Leaving in a couple of hours.
I want to ask, I know both your parents were flight attendants. Did you get to come to London much as a kid, or the UK in general?
No, actually, like, because the cool thing about it was to use of course, I was a kid and I was going to school. So we have like long Christmas vacation, but of course it's like super cold in Europe. So the trick was to fly to the other side of the world to have some summer. But that was when the company was like very big and full, and then growing up the company started like failing, so no more trips.
Where was the best place you went as a kid? Do you remember?
I went to Thailand,
Wow.
Tanzania. Like I saw a bunch of very cool places.
Awesome. And London for you the last couple of times, it's been for a show or for promo, for any chill out time here, or?
I came. Actually, I lived here for 3 months in 2018, 19, because we were supposed to do like a whole thing. Like it was a label move, and then it didn't happen. But we already paid for the house, so we were like, okay, let's just stay.
Would you come back, do you reckon, permanently?
That was cool. That was cool. That was such a cool time. We were living in Shoreditch. We were hanging out in like Camden and Soho. Like even enjoying this, like living the city, being there for a couple of months. Of course, is completely different than being a tourist. We have also like a bunch of um, London friends. So it was also like cool to live as a local for a couple of months.
Sick. And after Paris, is it back to LA or a few more places in
No,
between?
after Paris, I'm going to Tokyo, because we have a bunch of things to do. Then I'm going to Seoul for the first time in my life. Yeah, and we have a show there. I'm playing, and then I'm back to LA.
Cool.
After that.
And when you do go back to LA, does it feel now like you're going home?
It feels like I'm going home because I've been in the last like 5, 6 years of my life, I've been traveling so much, and I never really stayed in a place for more than a month. So I felt like I never had a real house, because even in Rome, I was staying in like, yes, apartments, but they were not mine. They were not like personal, and there was not all my stuff. I lived out of suitcase in the last 5 years. And so now my apartment there is the first place where I actually open the suitcases. I'm buying furniture. It's starting to look like my house. And of course, I live there with my partner. So I consider that house now. Yeah.
And what does home and the importance of home mean to you as someone who, has been traveling the world so much, is still traveling the world so much, and a new home as well, because, you moved to LA permanently only kind of recently.
Yeah. I felt the lack of a place that I could call home in the last few years. I think it's very it does some weird tricks chemically to your brain to never undo your suitcases, and always knowing that wherever you're buying or living there, it's like something that belongs to that place for that amount of days. I think it's very weird, and you never get to like build the community and really like have a social life when you're traveling all the time. So um in for me, of course, going back to Italy was always a chance to see my family and see my friends, and it always gave me that sense of like relief, but it was so rare. And now having two places that I can call home, it kind of makes the trick.
That's nice. And what point in LA did you feel like it felt like home? Because obviously I know you went there to write the record in the first place, but was there a point, a day, a moment that you can recall?
I think that for what are my goals right now and how I feel about my personal life and my music, I think that right now it's the place that allows me to do what I want to do in the best way possible. And also like, and I, of course, I realized this writing the record and then starting building a community there with other songwriters and my partner and for friends and everything. I felt very welcomed and I felt like my energy in that moment was very matching the city because it's a huge city, but it's very slow because it's so wide that like it's like my micro cities into the
Yeah.
city. So if you have the chance to take it slow, not everybody has it, of course, and I'm very privileged for this, but if you have the chance to do it, I think it's a place that really helps to um, kind of cleanse. If you don't, it's very distracting.
I get that. Well, yeah, the people, the place, the energy, it all fits. That's really great to hear. So let's rewind a bit. What was it, do you think, specifically that catalyzed your move to LA to write the record? Was there a moment? Was it an accumulation of things? What kind of forced that decision on you, would you say?
Um, with the with the last record with the band, we wrote part of it in LA, and so
Mhm.
I started already kind of seeing the circle of songwriting, et cetera, there, and I enjoyed it on a human level and also on a professional level. So when started doing the record, I knew that I couldn't make it in Italy because of course, in my hometown, I'm stuck in my everyday dynamics, and I needed a place where I could have a kind of a fresh start. So it's a place that it was not completely unknown for me, but at the same time, I had everything to discover, and also people didn't know me, so I could kind of present myself in the way I feel more represented by right now.
Yeah.
So it was like this, this compromise between the two things that really allowed me to feel comfortable, but at the same time, I had to force myself to get out of my comfort zone, meet people, et cetera, and that really helped me write the record.
Yeah, and you say they're a fresh start. In the last 4 years since you won Eurovision, with everything that's happened in the pace of it, and even before that, to be honest, is something like a fresh start and freshness something you think about and have time to think about much? Because I guess so much of it is just going along with the ride.
Yeah. Yeah. That was um I think yeah, even before Eurovision, we had a such a fast growth in Italy since we started. So our life as a band has been a lot about opportunities coming and us trying to get them all because we were 18 to 20, full of energy, full of enthusiasm. And so, of course, we did that, and I don't regret anything. I just came to the point where like my energies were lower, my enthusiasm was lower, so I was really facing then the pressure, the anxiety, the fatigue, and I needed, yeah, a fresh start. I needed to get back to writing music only for the purpose of writing it and living it as a game.
Yeah.
That it's what really inspires me and makes me extremely happy, actually.
Yeah, does that resonate with some of the reasons why when you were, in your teenage years, wanted to get into music in the first place? Has this come a bit full circle for you?
Yeah, I think that for me, when I was a teenager, was about a lot about expression, but it was also a lot about kind of I don't know, like not getting attention because that sounds bad, but kind of stating myself, like making myself exist, you know? And I did it and that worked for a lot. And then I came to a point in my life where I actually not I wanted to exist less, but I wanted to be less visible, less constantly under the spotlight. So I really needed to take time to just write the music
Yeah.
without any tour or any promo while I was doing it and only focus on that. And now I'm very happy that the music is out and I have the chance to like talk about it and have people listen to it because it was a full like personal journey.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, it's so easy to forget you're only 26 now, and so much has happened in your life so far. I just wondered in that time, did you feel like Damiano the person needed a bit of time to catch up with everything that was happening to you as sort of the front man of Maneskin. Would you say there was a little separation between the two in any way?
Um, I think that what you're saying is true, only that I realized it all at once. I never felt my persona on stage and my real persona distantiating, but that's actually what was happening because my stage persona was a reflection of who I was when I started with the band. So it was more a reflection of my 18 years old self, and now nearly 10 years have gone by, and I was changing during these years,
Mm.
but I was so busy that I couldn't see it. And as soon as I was close to stopping because the tour was coming to an end and everything, I really felt that separation. And it's like I was always talking about someone else, someone that not I used to be, because that stuff, it's always part of me and will always be part of me.
Mm.
Like, it's such a huge part of my personality, my experiences, and what made me who I am today. But of course, I've grown up and I developed new ideas, new feelings, etc. And I felt like they need their care too.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a period of change, your late teens and your 20s. Like, is it something you, even now and maybe going forwards, want to take more time to like let yourself process those changes?
Yeah, I really want to take things easier and slower in the future because um, I think instincts are important and we have to be able to follow them. But when they're positive, when it's like masked with anxiety or fears or anything like that, I think it's very healthy to allow ourselves to take some time to be in that, to be also in the discomfort, and before we start even acting on it, really recognizing where it comes from and what is that we're missing at that moment, because otherwise the risk is to make even more damage.
Before we get into the album in depth, just want to rewind a little bit more because I mean, Eurovision, you always get asked about it. It's 4 years ago now, and the longer time goes on, the further in the past it is. Do you think about it much? Are you very at peace with the way it all happened, the positives, the negatives, the everything? Is it something you can kind of have drawn a line under a long time ago?
No, I never felt like really touched by, let's say, the negative, like all the
Yeah.
rumors and stuff, because I learned very early in my career that the bigger the thing, the bigger the criticizement. So it was kind of a evidence that what we did was big, and it still is. Like, I never felt offended or
Yeah.
anything. It's Eurovision, for me, it's a beautiful memory. It's a moment that, of course, changed our life. Then at the same time, I don't think like we owe everything to Eurovision.
For sure.
I think I think it was a teamwork. Like, we did something for Eurovision. Eurovision definitely did something for us. Um, and it's a beautiful memory. It's something that I think we will never forget for sure. It was also like a beautiful experience
Mm.
overall, you know. The first contact with an international audience was like, oh my God.
Well, let's get straight into the music. Funny Little Fears. I mean, there's an age-old narrative, isn't there? Facing your fears. It's a phrase you learn as a young age. But I wonder, is there something in just speaking about them, voicing them, learning to cope with them, rather than necessarily the brave, courageous person that conquers their fears? Where do you sort of sit along that line?
Uh I don't I think that everybody has fears, and some are bigger, some are smaller, sorry. And of course, like, it's beautiful to think that we are always able to face them, and that's the ideal. But then there's the reality, and the reality is made of layers, and there's moments where we're not able to even face a small fear because we're weakened by something, we're fragile for something. And for me, this record worked more the as a way to face my fears and to get over them, was more to recognize them, because
Yeah.
I when I'm sad, when I have a problem in general, in my brain there's a lot going on. It's not like one clear voice speaking. It's like 100 different people giving opinions, and just having a blank sheet and writing, it's like my brain is forced to focus on the main thought. And so it's a way for me to kind of look at me. It's like if I was in the mirror and I look at myself and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's the problem then. And I didn't even know because there's too much noise here. And music is a way to kind of silence thing and focus the lenses on one or two things.
And speaking of that focus, a song like Solitude is so, on the nose with the lyrics and everything. I just wondered how that came about and why you articulated things in that way. Is it that focus being so, obvious?
I this is the last song I've written for the record, and we were in the desert or in Joshua Tree, and I felt like the album was done, so I went to all the songwriters I was staying at the moment, and I told them like, let's just have a Holy Mary shot. We don't have to make a single. We don't have to make like a smart song. We just have to make a song. Let's have fun. And of course, they knew I was coming from the band, and I have like a rock background, and I knew it. And I knew that like with the record, there was going to be a lot of talking about this rock versus pop thing. And this song was kind of the way for me to say, I don't need everybody to understand why I'm doing this. If you can enjoy it, good. If you don't understand me, I'm fine because I finally understand myself. I know where this is coming from and I'm proud of it, and nobody can take it away from me.
Was the process of writing that song or the moment you wrote it like a time when you felt you truly understood yourself? Was that more of a long-term thing, or is it still something that, comes on certain days and goes on others?
Of course, I think it's gonna keep happening for the rest of my life. I hope because it means that I'm like changing and evolving and etc. That moment was more like a closure. It was like
Yeah.
not only I understood myself, but I was able, and these people that worked with me for 9 months really had the ability to understand what was going on and to allow me to express some things that probably alone I would have had some shame. It's like these people gave me so much strength, and it was like the whole process of the album was like the cherry on top of everything.
Mhm. Yeah, and vocally, like you say, everyone will know you from the rock space, the pop space. That is, it's so unique, I think, on the album. How was that delivering it? Because it's almost like it's almost whispered at points. You can really hear every word, every syllable.
I okay, the truth is I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not a very technical singer. Like I know how to keep my voice healthy and not damage it, but I'm not like I don't know, a crazy like Charlie Puth, crazy technical singer. I envy them a little bit, but so for me it's all about using my body and using my voice as a like an intensity and dynamic to express then the message. So that song sounds a lot like a conversation for me. It's written from the point of view of a conversation. It's more like a journal page than song lyrics. And so it just felt normal for me to whisper and then dynamically build up towards the end because it's like, liberation and I don't know, words and melodies and intensity and body language comes all together for me, and it's very automatic and instinctive the way I treat it.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely comes true. And at the other end of the spectrum, we've got songs like Voices and Tango, which is so, upbeat. Your people will be jumping up and down at the gigs. I'm not sure. But then in terms of the subject matter, it's not necessarily as, glossy and brilliant. How do those two things coexist to you? Is it similar to maybe how you were feeling and maybe on the outside everything looked, brilliant. You were the front man of this incredible band that were conquering the world when really you're actually struggling a bit inside.
It's that. It's also how I feel every day. I mean, like if I'm sad for something, I'm not sad 24/7. I'm like sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I don't really think about it. Sometimes I'm half sad. It's like, it's a huge spectrum of emotions. It's not just that one thing. And I always felt like sad songs don't necessarily have to always be ballads because, like the feeling is way more complicated. And I think that having a song that if you listen to it distracted, you want to dance. And then if you think about the words, you're like, should I be dancing? Gives it that layer of complexity that it's more human. It's, yes, more complex, so maybe it's a little harder to connect with it. But at the same time, I feel like it's more true,
Mm.
you know?
And we spoke earlier about facing your fears. You said recognizing your fears, but tangoing with the fears, that's a different thing, isn't it?
Dance with your fears is like you don't have to like solve it necessarily in that moment. You can be with it for a while. You can let it flow in your body and see what happens and see what's doing to you and what's going on and what's really your fear and what's also behind your fear.
Yeah, and the dance is it's a partnership between two people, isn't it? There's no one that conquers the other.
Exactly.
It's a mutual thing.
Exactly.
And there's some great people you've got on the album. Tangerine with David. I first wanted to ask about Damiano David and David. Hey
Yeah, that's
David,
weird. That's weird, but what that was meant to happen.
how did you come across his music?
I started listening to him, of course, when he had his Exploit. And I always thought he has something special. Of course, he's extremely talented. He's unique, very recognizable, and also he's very young. And I love when young people are doing great because I kind of see myself 6 years ago being like super enthusiastic, and I wish I could give some of my experience to them. Um, and the song changed a bit during the process. And when I got to the final version, I really felt like it could make sense with what he was doing. And I always want to work with people I respect because it's not about like streamings or marketing or anything like that. For me, it's about like, let's bring music to the playful level. Like we're two kids and we're writing a song and it's fun and there's no pressure because we're sharing it. And it's all about, yes, I have to be myself, but I also have to make the other person shine, which is, I think, a very beautiful exercise also to deal with your ego. And so I just DM'd him the song because he was like, fire, I want to be in it. And so it was like, good, great. And same happened with Suki. Like
Yeah.
when the song was over, I knew I wanted a female voice on it because it's how the song was written and um, the type of voice I needed, the type of tone I needed was perfect and was like matching with what she does. And she has this very ethereal way of singing and producing her music. And I just thought it was gonna be beautiful. And I'm very happy that she liked the song.
Wicked, yeah, they both sound great. And like you said there, like little kids, having fun. When with all the people you work with, whether that's people like Suki Waterhouse and David or other songwriters you work with, is that what it really is about for you? Because obviously there's the, personal element, you're processing things that are very deep and important to you. But just like kids having fun, is that a good way of saying like your ethos?
Yeah, I worked with a lot of music professionals,
Yeah.
and I would say I would divide them in two groups. One is a 9 to 5 job, and in that 9 to 5, I have to get a hit. And I respect that because it's true. Like it can be a job. Not everybody has to be as passionate or like, this is my life. If you're good at doing it, just do it. But I just don't connect with it because it's like I don't have the time to get in and I don't have the chance to make you understand what I want to do. And also, like, if we're writing a beautiful song and you have a heart out, you really destroy my enthusiasm. And I'm very petty. I'm like, okay, you don't like the song, fuck you. We're not gonna work together anymore, you know? So I always try to work with people that show enthusiasm, that show joy in in what we're doing. And it's truly what collaborations are based on for me, because then at that level, talent is there no matter
Yeah.
what.
And a nice little surprise for everyone at the end of Zombie Lady and your partner Delvin. How did that happen? Was it as natural as people might think? Was the song already there? Were you playing it to her?
It all like did I wrote this album next to her. We were already living together and everything. So a lot of the songs are influenced by her, but this in particular, we were watching The Court Bride, which is one of my favorite movies. And I just wanted to reimagine the story if I was meeting her, and it felt romantic. It felt like a beautiful thing to share. We wanted to keep it like not secret because it's like people are smart enough to get it, but like not like too on the nose. It's like only on the credits because it's like our nice little romantic thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be a huge thing, you know?
Yeah, and it's a brilliant song. The record goes all over, like, so many different places, sonically, lyrically. How are you feeling like now it is out in the world? I mean, because not everyone gets to release a debut album twice, you know,
That's true. That's
that is a
true.
unique thing. What's the feeling like now that it's the world's, if you get what I mean?
I think that having already had experiences with this with the band really is allowing me to kind of block the noise and don't put too many expectations. This doesn't have to be my biggest album or the biggest album ever. I will keep doing this job for many years, hopefully, and so I'm only experiencing, you know, the joy. And also it's like there's this pact that you do with people. Like this music is not mine anymore, really. It's for people to give their interpretation. And it's like I have the curiosity to see what people read between the lines because of course I know the true story, but I know the true story. I already heard it. I'm bored. I want to hear your story.
And sort of now, in the immediate term, I mean, do you feel like this sort of journey of rebuilding you went on when you started this writing this record, you moved to LA? Is there stuff you're still to this in this on this day really, you know, working on, wanting to devote time to? Where are you at personally, I guess is what I'm asking in a
No,
long-winded way.
of course. I'm in a much happier place, in a much more aware place, and um of course, sometimes certain feelings come back, but now I have the tools to recognize them and place them in parts of my brain that don't take my full self and my full feelings. But again, like I truly hope to keep struggling in my life because it means that I'm moved by something. I'm passionate. I want to change myself because I want to better myself and I want to be better for me, my family, my partner, the people I interact with. It's like I think it's a constant process of trying to better ourselves, and it's okay if sometimes we struggle.
Yeah, that's a really nice way of flipping the narrative. Yeah, turn it into a positive. What are those tools, if you don't mind me asking? What have you, you know, discovered that you can rely on, I guess?
Some things are just in our head, they're not real. And if you're able to take that thing and tell yourself you're feeling that it's true for you, but it's not real, it's not happening, you're projecting it, you're creating the problem in your head. What I do usually is to create the problem in my head before it happens because then I have a sense of control. It's like I already solved it, but that only makes me anxious until the thing happens, and then the thing happens anyway. So if I'm able to, you know, place things in their spot, I can try to like take care of one thing at a time and don't think about a problem that I might have in 6 months.
Nah. Speaking of in 6 months or beyond, are you doing another solo album? Is that in the works?
In No, it's not in the works because because I'm not Superman. I'm for sure gonna do another. I don't know when. I don't know if I'm gonna do before single or before with the band again, before an Italian or a movie or whatever. I keep every door. I don't know, like why not? But people ask me about it. But yeah, just keep every door open. I want to keep doing stuff.
Yeah. And how's your 2026 looking? Busy?
Kind of.
Kind of.
No, actually, the tour ends at the end of 2025. It should be. I should rest. Yeah,
You
next
should.
year, I
Is there
think.
time for a Christmas holiday like you did when you were younger?
Yeah, yeah, like when I was a kid.
It's the obvious question, Damiano. We all know that Maneskin's not finished at all. But I just wondered, with everything you've learned now about the fatigue, the burnout, the everything you don't want to repeat, are there things you already know mindset-wise, whenever that does happen, you're gonna take in to ensure it's a bit more sustainable?
Definitely, like I know my needs better now, and I'm sure. Actually, I know that they know their needs better now, and we're grown up. Uh, I think that we between us and us with our team and like the industry in general, we can communicate better and keep everything more doable and healthy.
Yeah. I know you kind of needed a bit of a separation from everything writing this record, your surroundings, the people, but did you send any stuff to them? Did you use any of them as
Well,
a
of course,
sounding board?
they heard all the
Yeah,
record. When,
before the
yeah, sure,
yeah.
when it was in the making, of course, of course.
Yeah. What do they think?
They loved something, they hated something else. It's what I expected.
What kind of circumstances do you think need to be in place for the band to get the train going again? Is there anything you can
We have to be
nail
all
down?
well rested, and I think that the first thing we do has to be something that we really feel in our guts and doesn't feel like work at all.
Yeah.
That's the best, the ideal.
That's how it should be. Well, enjoy Paris. What you up to while you're there?
TV show,
In and out?
some stuff. Yeah, in and out, like 1.5 days.
Nice one. And get some rest. You deserve it.
Thank
And we'll see you back out on tour. Really appreciate your time. My Little Fizz, out now.